It's over to Will now to look through some common CRMs online.
Thanks, Claire. So now that we've got a giant list of requirements, we can go online and just have a play with some of these CRMs. I'm going to keep my requirements doc and some of the other work that we've done open in a tab in my browser so I can keep referring to it and make sure that I'm on the right track. You'll generally find that signing up for CRMs is really annoying. They all want to get your credit card details, your phone number. It's because they want to sell you stuff. So a little trick that you can use when you're signing up is to use either 20-minute mail, or if you're using Gmail, we can tweak your Gmail so that you can not be sold to so hard. Let's start with a kind of recent popular option, Nation Builder. They're apparently the best software to run your nonprofit, so let's just start a free trial. You'll see I get really impatient when I use this kind of software, and that's kind of okay. You've got to imagine all of our volunteers, employees, maybe even board members. We want everyone to be able to use whatever bit of software we get. So you really want to run it through its paces and see what it's like for a new person to experience it the first time around. So I'm going to say Fitzroy Academy test. I'm going to pretend that I'm signing up for reals. So my first name is going to be nope, my last name is nope. My email is going to be, I'm going to Google 20-minute mail, click the first link I come across, and use this system to get myself a temporary email address. The reason that I'm using a 20-minute mail system to sign up for these accounts is that it's an email where I can use it to get those your account has been authorized kinds of emails, and then I'll just let it disappear in 20 minutes. Great, so this is my email address. I'm going to sign up with that. My phone number and password don't really matter because I'm just testing. Now they've asked for a credit card number. At this point, I would just pull out a credit card, sign up, and then in 10 or so days, make sure that I've got a notification in my calendar to disable the account so I don't get charged. Okay, now that I've signed up, in this case, Nation Builder, the first thing I'm going to want to do is add someone to it. That's the thing that you tend to do with most CRMs, is add and remove and send messages to people. So I'm going to guess that under people, I should be able to add a new person. Cool. Let's say that I'm adding one of our donors, Sally Smith, who wants to receive emails. Their email is that, their phone number, and the best time to call is in the morning. Now it seems like Nation Builder has this kind of support level idea. You'll find that most CRMs work in their own weird and wonderful ways, which is basically how they think you should use all CRMs. So Nation Builder has a support level idea. In this case, I'm going to say they're a strong supporter and their priority is high. Great. Let's add that person and see what happens. Cool. Looks like I've added Sally Smith. Now, let's look back at my page layout. These are the details we gathered that we know that we want our CRM to be able to handle. We've decided that we want to have a pet type. Okay, let's see. Can I add pet type to this somehow? Looks like they've got custom fields. Okay, on the settings page. Here we go. Name, pet type. And it's going to be text. Okay, cool. Great. So I'm going to go back to Sally. Let's see if this works. Sally Smith. Okay, cool. And now I'm going to edit them. And let's see if that pet type exists. I completely couldn't find it. At this point, I would probably go to Google and type in how to add custom fields in Nation Builder. They'll have some support and I'll go and check it out. But for the moment, I've figured out that it seems relatively easy to use. It seems to have the ability to add custom fields. So let's try something else. Another apparently popular CRM is Agile CRM. I've created an account and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on contacts and I'm going to try adding a contact. Let's see how that works. Okay, again, Sally Smith. They're the CEO at ABC Corp. And their email address, what does that mean? Oh, they're going to add ABC Corporation. Okay, so this is going to add ABC Corporation. That's handy. Their email is going to be something@example.com, and their phone number is going to be a phone number. Now we can see that we've got a tagging functionality here. If we look back at our requirements, we can see that we want a ped type to be a tag or a preferred donation type. Let's try adding that back in. So we're going to add a tag of donations online. And then we'll add another tag for pet type dog. Cool. That seemed reasonably easy. All of the CRMs that I'm trying out today, I'm literally trying for the first time, so you can see how frustrated I get. The next thing that we've said in my requirements document is that we want to have these page layouts, which is, custom fields for different kinds of contacts. And I also want to have some workflows like online donations and supporting major donors, etc., etc. Now, every CRM is going to have a different idea on how to deal with this stuff. So in the case of Agile, they seem to have web rules. I'm going to guess that web rules is where we manage our workflows. Oh dear. It looks like they're asking us to add a bunch of code to our website. Now, if I'm not the web developer for the site, I'm not going to be able to do that. But at least I know they can do it. So if I call up their salespeople, I know that it's something I can do with my web developers. At which point I'll decide I'm bored and move on to the next one. Highrise is a reasonably popular online CRM by the team that did Basecamp for project management, and so the integration's kind of cool there. But let's see if Highrise can do another common thing we want to do. For example, tasks. Okay, I'm going to click tasks and see if I can make a new one. New task. I'm going to new task that says call that major donor. And I want it to be done before Christmas, so November the 15th. And I want to call them in the mid-morning, 10:30. Category is going to be a call, okay? And I'm guessing that let everyone see this task means that other people in my team can also see what I'm doing. That's handy. Great, a task has been added. So looking at the way that Highrise seems to do tasks, it's just a task, like a to-do list. Now, that could be bad if we want to allocate tasks to certain people and track them and all this kind of stuff, or it could be good because it's simple and people will actually do it. Most CRMs are on a spectrum from super simple to super complex. The super complex ones tend to do lots of really cool stuff and lots of automation, but they're harder to get running and they're harder to use. You really have to position your needs somewhere along that spectrum because you can't have both things at the same time. Now that we've tried out tasks, let's jump to a different CRM and try something else. Insightly seems to be a relatively common CRM. I literally just Googled good CRMs for nonprofits and social enterprises and started signing up for them one by one. Let's compare how Insightly manages contacts to the other ones that we've tried. I'm going to click on contacts and I'm going to make a new one. Mr. John Smith, who is the CEO at ABC Corp. Their email address is floop@example.com, and wow, a date to remember. Their birthday is on, oh cool, January the 1st, 1961. Oh, I'm going to repeat that yearly and send myself a reminder. So that's cool. Just by trying it out, we've figured out that Insightly has the ability to create birthdays for people and send us a reminder so that we can tweet them that picture of a cat or dog. I'll save that and see what happens. Great, Mr. John Smith is in. Okay, now that we've created a contact, let's try one of the other things that we wanted to do, which was an integration. In this case, we use Gmail, so we're going to try and integrate with it. We're using yet another CRM this time called Nimble. Nimble seems to be built around lots of social media interactions, which I guess is cool if that's a thing we want to do. I'm going to try and send John an email. How do I do that? Send a message. Send an email. Oh, I need to add my email account. Let's try that. It looks like I can connect a whole bunch of different social platforms. Let's try Gmail. I'm going to select the Fitzroy Academy. It's going to ask to access some of my details. Let's say allow and see what happens. Wow, and I can import some contacts. Do I really want to do that? No, let's do that later. Let's see if we can send an email. Okay. Send a message to John Smith from Cool. So it's just pulled in all of my Gmail details, like my email address and maybe even my contact list. So now I'm going to send an email to John saying, hey, you should give us lots of money. Hi there, etc. And send. Cool, so we just managed to integrate a third-party system and send an email in a couple of minutes. We know that it's pretty simple. If we wanted to learn more, we might use this take the tour functionality, and you'll find that most CRMs have some kind of how to use feature. Let's take one final look at another CRM called Tout. It's not really a CRM, it's a thing that plugs into some of your other systems. But while I was searching around, I found it and I thought we should give it a go. Tout plugs straight into an online email account. And when I compose new email, I can now choose to tout things instead of just sending them normally. It's essentially a way of just using my email address as my CRM. So if I were to send an email to Sally at Example saying, give us lots of money, thanks, I could schedule that using Tout to send it at a custom time, at a custom day, and automate some of my email functionality a little bit more. The more complicated a thing you try and do with a CRM in the first 5 minutes of using it, the more you're going to get stuck. At which point, Google is your friend. For example, if I wanted email workflow automation in high-rise, I would literally click the first link I find and read through it. I can see it integrates with MailChimp, which means that I might be able to use it for email automation. One thing you could think about doing if you're being really diligent is go back to that page layout. One thing you could do if you're being really diligent is go back to your page layout and add new columns for all the services you're trying out. So we could throw all of the names of the CRMs we're trying out across the top, and then in reference to the things that we want to record, can they do it? So can we do pet types by tags in Nation Builder? Yes. Now realistically, this is an imperfect process, but if you've gotten this far, you've had a look at the kind of contacts you want to store in a CRM, you may have even checked with people in your organization what kinds of workflows they're going to want to do. You've tried some of these things out online, which is super important because you've got to see if they feel okay and if you'd be comfortable using them in the long term. Hopefully you can wrap up all of that homework that you've done and feel much more confident when you speak to the salespeople at these CRMs and eventually make the right decision on what thing to actually implement. Because realistically, a CRM of any kind is better than having no CRM at all.